Welcome to Yatim Khana and Madrasa, Anjuman Khairul Islam's Pune College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Camp Pune 1. Myself, Dr. Arif Tamboli, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Electronic Science. Students, we are going to study today the topic which is called as log amplifier using PN junction diode and operational amplifier. So the name of the topic is log amplifier using PN junction diode and operational amplifier. So this is the circuit diagram of log amplifier. So input voltage V in, of course DC. So DC input voltage V in, which is applied to this entire log amplifier circuit, and at the output, logarithmic term of input voltage V in will appear. In this circuit diagram, you see very carefully, op amp is used for which we have applied the dual power supply, and op amp which is used, it is in inverting mode because input voltage is applied through resistance Rin to the inverting input. Non-inverting pin which is not used is grounded, and output is measured with reference to ground. So this ground is the dual power supply's ground, and here input voltage when it is applied to the op amp, in the feedback, instead of using the feedback resistor, we have used the diode, and that is why the circuit get converted into log amplifier. So here diode works as a log element. Here PN junction diode works as log element, and here output V out is directly proportional to the input V in, but logarithmic term of input V in. Above diagram is an ideal log amplifier because in above diagram PN junction diode is a semiconductor component, and due to increase in surrounding temperature of PN junction diode, the conductivity of diode also increases. And when conductivity of diode increases, all of you know the resistivity decreases and Vout changes. So due to this thing, Vout changes without changing Vin. Means when the temperature surrounding to this diode changes, its conductivity increases and resistance decreases because it is a semiconductor component, and therefore this diagram is an ideal diagram. So therefore practical diagram of log amplifier is having the facility to calibrate the Vout as shown below. In this case we cannot calibrate the Vout. In this case we cannot calibrate the Vout, but in case of practical log amplifier, therefore practical diagram of log amplifier is having the facility to calibrate the Vout as shown below. So what is done here? In this case, the output of the diode is directly not connected to the output of op amp. It is connected at the junction of potential divider circuit R1 and R2. And potential divider circuit's input is nothing but output of op amp. And this junction point is connected to the cathode of the diode. Therefore, by changing the resistance R2, we can change the Vx, and by changing the Vx, we can change the conductivity of the PN junction diode, and this conductivity will help you in calibrating the output Vout. So in this way, this is a very simple logic. Now, Vout is directly proportional to log to the base 10 of V in, or you can say log to the base E also, because 2.303 will be the constant term, will come constant in the proportionality constant. So in order to derive above equation, let us try to understand that how does PN junction diode behaves a log element, because it is very important to understand the construction of a PN junction diode and how does PN junction diode behaves as a log element. So all of you know the basics of a PN junction diode is what? PN junction diode consists of depletion layer as shown below. And basically the PN junction diode, as the name suggests, PN, P-type semiconductor material and N-type semiconductor material are combined to each other, and at the junction of P-type semiconductor material and N-type semiconductor material at the room temperature, the formation of depletion layer takes place. So in case of a P-type material, all of you know that holes are majority charge carriers. Holes are majority charge carriers, and in case of N-type semiconductor material, electrons are majority charge carriers. Electrons are majority charge carriers. So now we want to study slowly how does the PN junction diode is fabricated. We simply say that P type material is combined with N type material. It is not so simple. Combining means diffusing of p-type material over n-type material. So that is a different technology which is there, but let us try to understand p-type material in simple language gets combined to n-type material. So this is a basic of the this thing here for fabrication of p-n junction diode. Now we'll go into the detail how does the fabrication of a depletion layer takes place. So first of all of you know what do you mean by intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor is a pure semiconductor, and for example silicon. So atomic number of the silicon is 14, and you see here the last orbit there are 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and therefore there are 4 electrons in the last orbit, and therefore it comes into the category of semiconductor. Now this is intrinsic pure semiconductor. So to increase the conductivity of this intrinsic semiconductor, an impurity is doped, either trivalent or pentavalent, into a pure semiconductor, and fabrication of extrinsic semiconductor material is done, and that we'll see slowly. So this diagram uh, and this diagram are the diagrams of for your crystalline structure of intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor means pure semiconductor, silicon, intrinsic semiconductor. So it is a crystalline structure, it is given here. See the center silicon atom, it is having its 4 valence electrons, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what the silicon atom is doing this, it is sharing its 4 valence electrons with 4 neighbors. So upper neighbor, lower neighbor, right hand side neighbor, and left hand side neighbor. And these neighbor also share 1 electron with this silicon. And in this way, it is said that this silicon temporarily completes the octet. And because of this sharing, so here covalent bond is going to form, and this is written as a complete covalent bond because of the sharing. So this is what the pure silicon it is there, that is your intrinsic semiconductor material. Now to increase the conductivity of this silicon, what we do, we add a pentavalent impurity or a trivalent impurity, and accordingly we fabricate n-type material extrinsic and p-type material extrinsic. So let us see that in short. Now see here, suppose in a pure silicon there are 4 atoms of the silicon. If you add one atom of phosphorus, which is a pentavalent impurity. Pentavalent means 5 valence electrons are there. So out of that 5 valence electron, by this phosphorus, 4 electrons are shared by 4 silicon atoms. 4 electrons here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 electrons are shared with 4 silicon atom, and one extra electron remains, and that is called free electron. In this way, it is said that if you add one atom of the pentavalent impurity into pure silicon material, that is intrinsic semiconductor material, then formation of one free electron takes place. So here one free electron is fabricated. In this way, it is said that n-type material is having free electrons, large free electrons, and in case of n-type material, electrons are majority charge carriers. So now let us go to the p-type material. So here see the formation of p-type extrinsic semiconductor material. Again the silicon, into the silicon structure what we have added now, trivalent impurity, for example aluminium. We added a trivalent impurity. Trivalent means there are 3 valence electrons. So look at this, 1, 2, and 3. It don't have a fourth electron. So that is called your what? Presence of hole. Presence of hole means vacancy of electron is indicated as a presence of hole, and therefore these all bonds are called complete covalent bond, and this is incomplete covalent bond, and the vacancy of electron is called as hole. Therefore it is said that hole is an imaginary concept. Hole is an imaginary concept. So vacancy of electron is nothing but hole, and whenever any electron comes to this very close to this structure, so that electron will get occupied into this hole. Therefore it is said that hole always gains electron, and therefore it is said that hole is positive charge. Hole is having a positive charge. So actually speaking, hole is an imaginary concept. So Let us go to the now next slide. It is given here fabrication of p-type, and this is the example of some other impurity, boron and like that. And here it is p-type means hole is created, n-type means free electron is created here. So in case of your n-type material, the donor impurity contributes a free electron. So the donor impurity contributes a free electron, and in case of this thing here, acceptor impurity creates a hole. So now what we'll do it here, when a p-type material is combined with n-type material, we'll see what happens and the formation of depletion layer. Now by this time all of you know that n-type semiconductor material is having large number of free electrons. N-type semiconductor material is having large number of free electrons. Therefore, in case of n-type semiconductor material, if you see the structure over here, in n-type material, the atom is having a one extra electron. The structure is having one extra electron, that is called a free electron. So that is in case of n-type semiconductor material. And in case of p-type semiconductor material, there is a one vacancy of electron. There is a shortage of electron. So here, see here. So this hole. So in case of p-type semiconductor material, large number of holes are created. In case of p-type materials, large number of holes are created. By doping one impurity of a trivalent atom, you are creating one hole. By doping one impurity of a trivalent atom, you are creating one hole. So here, this white is marked as a hole. It is written over here clearly. Then these green lines are marked by free electrons. Green dash 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 lines are marked by the free electron. Now what happens here is try to understand. When we combine the p-type material with n-type material at a room temperature, at the junction, the atoms on this right hand side, are having one excess electron, and on the left hand side the atoms are having one electron less, that is the vacancy of electron, that is called hole. So when you combine this material with that material, what happens? The excess electron of that atom jumps from this side to that side. The excess electron of that atom jumps from this side to that side, and like this atom is what? Losing the electron. This atom is losing the electron, and this atom on the right hand side of the left hand side of the p-type material is gaining the electron and completing the octet. The left hand side atom is gaining the electron and completing the octet, and in this way here the left hand side atom completing its octet, and total negative charge is increased. Total negative charge is increased. That's why it is marked by the minus minus minus. And in this way here, that atom which has got the electron, gained the electron, is converted into negative ion. And the atom who have lost the electron, this atom lost the electron, that will get converted into positive ion, and in this way this process will continue. How long time it will continue? Migration of electron from n-type to p-type till equilibrium. Till equilibrium means what? Till equilibrium means unless and until the number of electrons, total number of electrons in the outermost shells on the right hand side of n-type material does not become equal to the total number of electrons in the outermost shell on the left hand side of the p-type material. So now just remember that, and therefore here these atoms got converted into ion. Which ion? Positive ion. And these atoms also got converted into negative ion, and therefore this particular region is called depletion region. And here on the left hand side now the total negative charge is increased, therefore here you see the battery's negative is marked. On the left hand side total negative charge is increased because the holes are fulfilled by electrons. From where the electron came? From n-type material. And in this way total negative charge is increased. Now here on the right hand side that atom has lost the electron, therefore their total negative charge will decrease, and that's why it is indicated as what? Yes, means in another language you can say vacancy means that is a plus sign, terminal positive of the battery and terminal negative of the battery. And in this way, here on the right hand side, there will be positive ion. On the left hand side, there will be negative ion. And this is called your depletion layer. And here, the total negative charge is increased. Here, the charge is decreased, and here it is called negative terminal, and here it is called positive terminal, and this is called formation of barrier potential also. So in this way here, formation of depletion layer also will take place, and formation of barrier potential will also take place. Now our point of interest through the frame of reference of log amplifier is this depletion layer region. Now this depletion region acts as a dielectric material, and this p-type material and n-type material acts as two plates of that dielectric material. Therefore, dielectric material, when you place in between two plates, that works as a capacitor. And that is what we have to understand. How does the p-n junction diode behaves as log element? How does the p-n junction diode behaves as log element? Now let us proceed ahead. So in this way here, again this diagram is there. When you applied the any voltage to the p-n junction diode, you can say that here p-type semiconductor material, here n-type semiconductor material, and here depletion layer. In this here, this is the width of depletion layer, and here you can see that these are the ions. Now when you forward bias the p-n junction diode, the current starts flowing. Conventional direction of flow of current is from positive to negative, and actual flow of electron is from negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal. Now let us try to understand here. Depletion layer starts behaving as a dielectric material, and formation of junction capacitor takes place. Doesn't matter, this is very small, that is in picofarad. So this depletion layer starts behaving as a dielectric material, and the junction formation of junction capacitor takes place, because right hand side and left hand side two materials will start acting as a plates. Now here it is, in short, the theory is given. What do we mean by ion? Ions are atoms that have lost or gained electrons, and therefore have a net charge. Net charge means octet is completed. So in this way, ions are atoms that have lost or gained electrons, and therefore have a net charge. Excess is also given, and those who are having a less, they have taken it. So completed the octet. An atom that has lost the electron and has an positive charge is a cation. An atom that has lost the electrons and has a positive charge is a cation. When p-type semiconductor material is combined with n-type material, semiconductor material, at that time, at a junction, the migration of electron from n-type semiconductor material to p-type semiconductor material takes place till equilibrium. This is important. Till equilibrium, and formation of depletion layer takes place. The atoms inside the depletion region are converted into ions, because the octet of each atom is completed, and due to this reason, the depletion layer starts behaving as a dielectric material. The depletion region starts behaving as a dielectric material. P-type as well as n-type material acts as parallel plate on both sides of depletion layer, and depletion layer is acting as a dielectric material, that is dielectric material. Therefore, inside p-n junction, formation of junction capacitor takes place. It is in picofarad. So in this way, the formation of junction capacitor is very important here, and the formation of junction capacitor, which is called formation of depletion layer, which is called formation of barrier potential, because of migration of electron from n side to p side till the equilibrium. And now we'll proceed for the next part, that is called equivalent circuit diagram of p-n junction diode with internal capacitor, which is called junction capacitor. So if a p-n junction diode is there, only one junction capacitor is there. In BJT, there are two p-n junctions are there, so there are two junction capacitors. So it is the very important term to understand. And therefore now after this, whenever you forward bias this PN junction diode by applying a battery anode to the positive of the battery, cathode to the negative of battery, this capacitor starts exponential charging. This capacitor starts exponential charging, and exponential nature is nothing but logarithmic nature. That's why diode is called as log element. That's why diode is called as log element. Now see here, when we forward bias the PN junction by applying a forward voltage VD, at that time the junction capacitor charges exponentially, and due to that reason the forward bias characteristics of PN junction diode is having exponential curve in its IV characteristics. So IV means current and voltage. On y-axis there is a current, on x-axis there is a voltage which you are applying to the PN junction diode, and current which is flowing through the PN junction diode because you applied the voltage. So if you observe this curve, this is the exponential curve. So I have shown one more curve. So like this. So in this curve it is written that till 0.7 volt, actually speaking, diode should not allowed to flow any current because barrier potential is your zero point 0.7 volt. But due to the room temperature, just from zero point 0.5 volt onwards, the current starts flowing, and here you see zero point 0.5, and then the current starts flowing. But anyway, we are interested in this exponential curve. So here after it is a linear, no doubt, but here you can say that exponential. So this exponential nature is only the important in our frame of reference of log amplifier. The exponential nature is basically a logarithmic, and due to this reason PN junction diode behaves as log element. So this is very important. So understanding of entire fabrication of p-type material, fabrication of n-type material, combining p-type material with n-type material, migration of electron from n side to p side, formation of depletion layer, formation of barrier potential, and that leads to the formation of dielectric material because all atoms inside the depletion layer got converted into ion, and that acts as a dielectric material, and two materials p-type and n-type start acting as metallic plates across dielectric material, and therefore there is a formation of junction capacitor in PN junction diode. To understand the behavior of a PN junction diode as a log element, we must derive the equation for current ID. Diode current, ID means diode current flowing through the diode in the form of logarithmic terms or as a function of log, because the forward bias characteristics of PN junction diode is having exponential curve as shown above, and exponential nature is basically a logarithmic nature. So exponential nature, this exponential nature reason is very important for us. So exponential nature is nothing but this. Now what we'll do, we'll try to understand the amount of current which is flowing through the diode when we apply the voltage across the diode VD. So this is a simple diagram of PN junction diode. Again, there is a barrier potential, and here the electrons start flowing from n-type material to p-type. That is actual direction of flow of electron, but for conventional direction of flow of current is always shown from anode to cathode, that is p-type to n-type. Now as shown in above diagram, means in this diagram, the diode current ID, as shown in above diagram, the diode current ID means current flowing through the diode ID depends on four factors. Depends on four factor. Factor number one, which is very important, how much voltage or potential difference you are applying. That is VD. How much voltage or potential difference you are applying, that is VD. Now, as it is a semiconductor component, when you pass the current through the PN junction diode, diode will start heating, and because of that internal heat, not external surrounding temperature, because of that internal heat, there is what you can say that electrons are forced into the excited states. Electrons are forced into the excited state because of that internal heat, and therefore there is a thermal voltage developed, and that thermal voltage is also very important in case of current flowing through the diode ID. To calculate the current flowing through the diode ID, thermal voltage VT, and this thermal voltage, as I explained you, the thermal voltage is the internal part. So this thermal voltage will depend on three factors. Factor number one, the electronic charge on electron, that is Q. Factor number two, Boltzmann constant K, and factor number three, temperature surrounding to the diode. This is a thermal voltage. This is a thermal voltage, means voltage developed inside the diode because of the internal heat and electron excitations. So this is a thermal voltage Vt. V for voltage, T for thermal. And this thermal voltage is given by the equation Vt is equal to K into T divided by Q. So we'll come to that point. Now third part on which the diode current depends, that is on doping parameter of p-type material and n-type. So that doping parameter means there are various types of the diodes available in the market. General is your normal rectifying diode 1N4007, and another diode which is called power diode. So depending on doping factor also the current will be decided, and that is called your ideality factor eta. Ideality factor eta, and its value is always in the range of 1 to 2. Its value is always in the range of 1 to 2. So in between 1 to 2 that value is there. So some people take this eta as a one only constant all the time to avoid the complications in the calculations, but we'll keep the eta as it is in our calculation. And other than these three currents, three factors on which the diode current depends. So number one, diode current depends on Vd voltage applied. Number two, it depends on thermal voltage. Number three, it depends on ideality factor, means your eta, that is type of the diode, doping parameters of the diode. And number four, which is very important, which is called reverse saturation current or leakage current, IS. IS means saturation, I means current. Reverse saturation current or leakage current. So this parameter comes into the picture when you reverse bias the PN junction diode. Now here the formation of capacitor takes place, dielectric material. So there is some amount of leakage current flowing in through the capacitor. So all of you might be knowing the basics of electronics. So when you talk about a capacitor, it blocks DC, it passes AC. But in case of a capacitor, there is some leakage current which is flowing, and that leakage current is also called as reverse saturation current, that is IS. And therefore, this equation you have to remember, the current flowing through the diode, that is ID, D for diode, I for current, is given by the equation IS, reverse saturation current, into bracket e raised to, into bracket e raised to Vd. Vd is what? Vd is voltage applied to the diode. You are applying this Vd. 1 volt if you apply, small amount of current will flow. 2 volt you apply, large amount of current will flow. 5 volt you apply, further large amount of current will flow. So in this way here, ID depends on ID equal to IS, reverse saturation current, into bracket e raised to Vd divided by eta into Vt. Vd divided by eta into Vt minus 1, minus 1. And this is the equation which is having a separate derivation. How does this comes? But that is not our part. We have to remember this equation. ID means current flowing through the diode is equal to IS, that is reverse saturation current or leakage current, into bracket e raised to. Now why this e raised to is there? Here it is given. The exponential term e raised to is due to charging of capacitor, is due to charging of capacitor inside the PN junction diode, that is barrier potential acting as a dielectric material, and that capacitor charges exponentially. So because of that charging of capacitor exponentially, and IV characteristics of the diode are also exponentially. So because of that capacitor only, IV characteristics of the diode becomes exponential curve. It is not a linear curve. So in this way here, this exponential term is there. So this equation, if you remember, current flowing through the diode is equal to IS into bracket e raised to exponential. Why e raised to? Because of the junction capacitor, Vd divided by eta into Vt. Vt is thermal voltage. Vt is thermal voltage. Vd is the voltage applied across diode, minus 1 bracket close. And in this way here, as I told you, thermal voltage equation is given by Vt is equal to Kt upon Q. Now this K is called Boltzmann constant. T is the temperature surrounding to the PN junction diode. T is the temperature surrounding to the PN junction diode, that is called absolute temperature. And Q is the charge on electron. Q is the charge on electron. So most of the time, for 2 marks, the question is asked, calculate the thermal voltage, and these values are given. K is given, Boltzmann constant K, 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 joule per Kelvin. Joules per Kelvin. Then charge on electron, all of you know, Q is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs. What is the charge on electron? Q is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs. So that is the charge on electron. And absolute temperature, whatever temperature given, suppose 30 degrees centigrade, 27 degrees centigrade, or any other 45 degrees centigrade. Calculate the thermal voltage at 45 degrees centigrade. So 45 degrees centigrade is the T, K is constant, Q is constant. So by substituting that value, you can calculate the thermal voltage. So in this way here, thermal voltage Vt is equal to Kt upon Q. So these are the parameters. Now let us calculate the value of Vt, thermal voltage at room temperature. Thermal voltage at room temperature. So here substitute the value of K and Q, and room temperature T is equal to 300 degree Kelvin. 300 degree Kelvin means around about 27 degree centigrade. 300 degree Kelvin means around about 27 degree centigrade. 26.73 or 83, it comes roughly 27 degree centigrade. So if you substitute the value of T as a 27 degree centigrade or 300 degree Kelvin, here we have to substitute in degree Kelvin, 300 degree Kelvin, because constant K, that is called Boltzmann's constant, the Boltzmann's constant is joule per Kelvin. Boltzmann's constant is joule per Kelvin. Therefore, that Kelvin and this Kelvin will get cancelled to each other. And in this way here, if you substitute that two values of K, Q and T as a 300 degree centigrade, we get thermal voltage equal to 25.8 millivolt. We get thermal voltage as what? 25.8 millivolt at room temperature. Now, look at this equation. Current flowing through the diode ID is equal to IS. IS is reverse saturation current into bracket exponential e raised to Vd divided by eta into Vt. Eta is a doping factor of the diode, you can say. Vd is the applied voltage, Vt is the thermal voltage. So if you substitute this thermal voltage as this value 25.8 millivolt, 25.8 millivolt. So millivolt means 10 raised to minus 3. So it will go there and become 10 raised to plus 3. So 1 divided by 25 something. So in this way, if you substitute that value and whatever Vd it is there, and suppose eta is equal to 1 or 2, for all applied voltages of the Vd, 1 volt, 2 volt, 10 volt, e raised to that term, exponential term, will become very, very large. So here it is given. For this room temperature, this is 25.8 millivolt. For this value of Vt, the value of e raised to Vd upon eta into Vt, normally eta is taken as a 1. So this term is very, very large as compared to 1. Therefore, neglecting 1, we can write. So neglecting 1, we can write this equation. In this equation, minus 1 we can neglect, because this term becomes very, very large. Exponential term becomes very, very large at room temperature even. Therefore, we can neglect this term and our equation will become very simple. And this equation you have to remember. Current flowing through the diode ID is equal to reverse saturation current IS into e raised to Vd divided by eta into Vt. Bracket close. Now minus 1 is not there. And this is equation number 2. This equation of diode current ID, this equation of diode current ID is used for derivation of log amplifier and anti-log amplifiers. So this is very important. The current flowing through the diode ID is given by the equation IS, reverse saturation current, ID equal to IS exponential e raised to, exponential, why again I am telling you, because this term exponential comes and the credit goes to junction capacitor, e raised to Vd divided by eta. Eta can be 1 to 2, in between 1 and 2. Vt is the thermal voltage. V2 is the what? Thermal voltage. So here, so Vt is the, we have already know this Vt, getting. So this equation we calculated for room temperature and we got this is very, very high. That's why we neglected 1. So here, why minus 1 we have neglected? Because at room temperature, this exponential terms becomes very large. You can do the calculation and you will observe. So this is the equation which is henceforth we are using in derivation, we are using this equation directly only. We are not dealing with any junction capacitor, how it is going to fabricate, how depletion layer is fabricated, how barrier potential is fabricated. That part we are not going to deal in mathematical derivations. So that part we are not going to deal in mathematical derivations. We are directly dealing with this equation. ID is equal to Is into e raised to Vd divided by eta into Vt. So this is the what here. Now let us proceed our main diagram. Let us derive the equation, or let us derive the derivation for log amplifier from the circuit diagram shown below. And this is what the circuit diagram in the beginning I have shown you. This is ideal log amplifier. Why ideal? Because due to changes in the temperature surrounding to the diode, if the output voltage changes, there is no process or there is no any circuit to calibrate here. But doesn't matter. We will proceed for this derivation, and then we can understand easily the calibrated circuit. So now here, when we proceed for the derivation of the log amplifier, remember that what we have to prove? We have to prove that this output voltage Vout is directly proportional to the log of V in, either log to the base e, that is natural log, or log to the base 10. So if it is log to the base e, you can convert it into the log to the base 10 by multiplying 2.303, which is a constant. And here, in this way, that is our target. Now we have to write each and everything very carefully. Look at this diagram very carefully. Input voltage V in is applied. As I already told you, input voltage which is to be applied to the log amplifier, anti-log amplifier, is always DC. Always input resistance is applied through a resistor R in to the inverting input pin. Non-inverting is grounded, it is not used. Because of that input voltage V in, current starts flowing through R in, and that current is called I in. So all these parameters must be written. 1 input voltage, 2 R in, 3 I in. Then when that current comes to this point, in the feedback we have used the diode. That is a PN junction diode. Therefore here when this current comes to the point A, all of we know that this point A is a virtual ground. So here point A is there. Now when this current comes to the point A, very small amount of current goes inside op amp. Because internal resistance of op amp is in mega ohm. That's why IB. Why it is given IB? Because there is a transistor inside the op amp. Therefore it is called base current. So this IB is very less, and therefore this incoming current gets diverted to the feedback path, and whatever the component is there, through that component it flows. Now our component is diode, therefore this current we have written as ID, current flowing through the diode. ID means current flowing through the diode. IB is the base current to the transistor inside the op amp, and here VD is the voltage across the diode. Now this voltage across the diode, see I have written mark here two arrows, because whenever you connect the voltmeter over here, this voltmeter will measure the voltage as a potential difference between this voltage on the left hand side and the right hand sides. So voltage is nothing but potential difference between 2 points. So we are coming to that point in the derivation. So in this way here all these parameters you must write, then derivation becomes very simple. So ID is the current flowing through the diode, VD is the voltage across the diode, IB is the current going to the op amp, and like this here and Vout. So if you mention all these parameters, our job is simple. Let us start for that derivation. We want to prove that Vout is proportional to the log to the base e or 10 V in. That is to natural log. Log to the base e called what? Natural log. Okay. So let us start from left hand side. From left hand side, if you start, first of all, you will observe that we can write V in is equal to I in into R in by using Ohm's law. V is equal to I into R. So V in is equal to I in into R in. So first of all, that we will write. Then slowly we'll come to the right hand side. So after this, writing about I in and V in and R in, all three comes in one equation only. V in is equal to I in into R in. So when you applied V in, I in flows at a point A, it comes. Now at a point when it comes, very few goes to the base current, maximum gets diverted to the diode. Therefore here you can apply the Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, and you can write the equation. So here this is rearrangement of the equation, and therefore I in is equal to V in divided by R in. I in is equal to V in divided by R in. Applying Kirchhoff's current law at point A, what we can write? Input current I in is equal to base current IB plus diode current ID, because here at point A, this input current is I in and incoming current is always equal to addition of outgoing currents. So here IB to this and here ID. So I in is equal to IB plus ID. But you know that IB is very less because of internal resistance of op amp is very high. So here that we have to write down. So in this case, I in is equal to IB plus ID, but IB is very less as compared to ID. Reason is what? Into bracket. Reason, input resistance of op amp is very high. Therefore, we can neglect the very small amount of current, that is IB, as compared to large amount of feedback current, that is ID, current flowing through the diode. Therefore, I in is equal to ID. So IB is neglected. I in is equal to IB. And here you know that what is I in? I in is equal to V in divided by R in. I in is equal to V in divided by R in. Therefore, ID is equal to V in divided by R in. So now this is the equation for the current flowing through the diode ID in this circuit diagram. Current flowing through the diode ID in this circuit diagram. Actually, our current flowing through the diode was a different. Okay, so we'll come to that point. Now let us write the equation for VD. So now when you come to this point, remember, we cannot go inside the op amp. We have to go in this path only, because input resistance of op amp is very high. So let us go to this path. So when you come to this path, you will find out that there is a diode and therefore VD. How to write the voltage across the diode? As I told you, it's very simple. Voltage across diode is nothing but potential difference between anode and cathode. Potential difference between anode and cathode. Anode is connected to the point A, so that is your VA, and this is connected, cathode is connected to the point V out, so this point is at V out. So VD is equal to VA minus V out. Very simple here. VD is equal to this point's voltage VA and this point's voltage is V out. So here let us write the equation for VD by using the logic of potential difference between VA and V out. So VD is equal to VA minus V out, equation number 5. But VA is a virtual ground, it is a 0 volt. Therefore, VD is equal to minus V out. So equation number 6. So in this way, you have to simply go on deriving it. Equation number 6. Now this is the VD. VD means voltage across the diode. Now let us calculate VD by using the equation of ID. Which equation? Equation of ID, which is this equation. Equation of ID, that is this equation, and this equation is representing that the current flowing through the PN junction diode is exponential in nature, and that's why IV characteristics are of the PN junction diode are having an exponential curve, and this current is given by the equation IS, reverse saturation current, into e raised to VD divided by eta into VT. VD is the forward voltage across the diode, eta is a equality constant, and VT is the thermal voltage. So in this way, this equation you have to remember. This is the real equation of current flowing through the PN junction diode, which represents that the current is exponential in nature. So here, this equation we are using to calculate the VD, because we want to proceed for output voltage V out. V out is equal to minus VD, or VD is equal to minus V out. So how to calculate VD? We can calculate the VD by using this equation. So it's a to be remember. So don't get confused here, because we got ID by this also. We got ID by this also, but this is the ID in this circuit diagram. Current flowing through the diode in this circuit diagram. But ID means diode current flowing through the diode is having a logarithmic component, so that is ID is equal to IS into e raised to VD divided by eta into VT. So what we'll do it here, all current will take on the left hand side. Okay, rearranging the terms, current on left hand side, ID divided by IS, two currents will take on this side, equal to e raised to VD divided by eta into VT. This is equation 7. So don't forget that we want to prove that the output is log of V in. Output is log of V in. Therefore, here after this equation, take the natural log, that is log to the base e. Take the natural log. Why? Because we want to prove that the output is proportional to the log of V in. So therefore we can take here the natural log to the base e on both sides. Therefore here log to the base e id divided by is into bracket equal to again log to the base e of e raised to something whatever it is there. So here natural log we have taken on both sides, left hand side as well as right hand side. So log to the base e id divided by is into bracket equal to log to the base e raised to vd divided by eta into vt. Now let us see. Using log to the base e of e raised to x. So here this you know very well, 12th standard mathematics, log to the base e of e raised to x. This x term will come here. This x term will come here and log to the base e of e, and log to the base e of e is 1. Therefore here it will remain as x only. So by using this logic, what we'll do it here, see on the right hand side what we have to do. Log to the base e of e raised to something, e raised to this entire parameter you define as x. So e raised to x. So this x will come here, and that is what here left hand side there is no change. Log of e id divided by is, and therefore when we take this term over here, because this vd divided by eta into vt we are treating as x, so that will come here, and what will remain, log to the base e of the e, and that is 1. Therefore I have not written that here, so simply this equation we have written over here. So this is simple mathematics, vd divided by eta into vt. Now here Vd is nothing but minus V out. Vd is nothing but minus V out. This is what we have derived here. Vd is equal to minus V out. So now here in this equation you have to substitute Vd as a minus V out. So I have taken intentionally very bold letter because this is our final target. So here log to the base e id divided by s bracket close is equal to minus V out divided by eta into Vt. Try to understand, minus sign is there coming from where? This equation only. Vd is equal to minus V out, because we are applying the input to the inverting input terminal of the op amp. Therefore, this minus sign is coming from this equation. Okay, now next proceed. So what is your equation then? Your equation, rearrange the terms here. Minus V out I will, or V out I will take on left hand side. So eta into V out will come on this side. This eta into Vt will come on this side, and then minus sign I will take on this side. So your equation V out will become V out equal to minus eta into Vt log to the base e id upon is. Id is the current flowing through the diode. Id is the current flowing through diode. Is the reverse saturation current. So this equation and this equation, see, very simple. Left hand side is log to the base e id upon is. Right hand side equal to minus V out upon eta into Vt. So this will come here multiplied. So multiplied, minus sign I have taken over here, and this is our equation. Now this id we have already derived. That is what I told you, don't get confused between this and that. So this id is over here. Id is equal to V in divided by R in. And now we'll substitute this id in that equation. So here id is equal to V in divided by R in. So here log left hand side V out is as it is, minus sign as it is, eta into V out Vt as it is, log to the base e into bracket, instead of id we'll write V in upon R in. So V in upon R in, and is as it is, and this is the final equation. Okay, you can say that in this equation Vt is equal to this Vt, Kt upon Q. So you can substitute Vt is equal to Kt upon Q, or even though if you don't substitute, you can write this equation as it is. So we have substituted here log to the base e V in upon R in into is here. V in upon R in into is, and for Vt is equal to, that is your thermal voltage, which depends on Boltzmann's constant, temperature surrounding to the diode, and electron charge on electron. So V out is equal to minus eta, instead of Vt, Kt divided by Q log to the base e into bracket V in divided by R in Rs, and this is the final equation. This equation represents what? This equation represents, say, V out is proportional to log to the V base e of V in, because here eta is constant, K is constant, T is constant, charge on electron is constant. This R in is a constant input resistor. Is reverse saturation current is very less, so it is almost negligible. It is almost negligible. So in this way here what remains? Log to the base e into bracket V in, if you take all that constants out. So in this way here This equation represents that V out is proportional to log to the base E of the V in, and this is a final equation. V out equal to minus eta into Vt, you can write down, no problem, or Kt divided by Q log to the base E into bracket V in divided by R in into Is, and that is why it is said that V out is directly proportional. Now here log to the base E, if you want to convert to the log to the base 10, multiply here 2.303. So that is one more constant. Already these many constants are there. So that doesn't matter. And in this way, we'll say that our diode is behaving as a log element, and how does the PN junction diode along with amplifier helps to convert the input voltage into the logarithmic. So in this way here I will conclude the lecture. Thank you very much for watching the lecture. Thank you.